Jimmy K here, Metal Voice. Look at this. The Metal Voice shirts are now on sale. Just go to the video description to find out on how you can purchase one. Metal! Welcome to the Metal Voice. Today on the show, yes, guitarist, and I've guessed the main man of Metal Church, Mr. Kurt Vanderhoof. I always love your last name, Vanderhoof. It's really cool.
Oh, thanks. Thanks. Very Dutch.
Yes, very, very. New album, I guess, or I guess a revisiting of an older tracks or newer tracks or a mix of everything, right? Metal Church.
Yeah, it's not officially a new album. It's some new stuff. You know, it's from the vault. Literally, that's all it is. It's stuff that we had from leftovers, or stuff that didn't fit at the time, or songs that we never completely finished and we don't know why, and I found in the archives, and all that kind of stuff. So it was just something, since we're not doing any touring until an actual official new album comes out, that we figured, hey, might as well use this stuff. I mean, as long as we felt we could put something together that was quality.
Yeah. Take a song like Dead on the Vine and For No Reason. I mean, were they actually remakes, or the actual tracks you didn't put on the album?
They were actual tracks that we didn't finish.
Okay.
Yeah, that we didn't finish for the last two records. And I think they're all from the last record. But we just never finished them. And I don't know why. It's not because we didn't like them or anything.
Damned If You're Due, or from, what do you mean the last record? Or was it 11 or X1? What's X1 representing it?
11? From Damned If You Do.
Damned If You Do, okay. That's what you mean by the last one, okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So, in other words, there were leftover tracks. You thought, hey, man, why didn't they make the album? They're pretty good.
Yeah, we don't know. That's why we polished them up a bit and put them out, because we didn't know. Because again, when we work, I like to write a big pile of songs, way more than we would need for a record, just to fill in any gaps and make sure, to the best of our ability, we don't have any, any filler or put a bunch of junk, on a record. So we tried to do that. And sometimes we get enough from, hey, there's an album right there, we like this, and then there's some tracks that we never go back and revisit. So that's what happened with these.
All right. So then you have...
To the best of my recollection.
Yeah, okay.
To the best of my recollection.
Sure. Dead on the Vine, For No Reason, Conductor was like a remix, right? From Hanging in the Balance, I believe,
that was a fan thing, a fan request kind of thing, yeah.
Above the Madness, right? That's like another leftover track, I guess, from the last album, I would believe, right? And then you have B-sides, right? So so what's the difference between Mind Thief, Tell Lie Vision, and False Flag?
Those, boy, I think those were done at the time, and we finished them, but they didn't make the record for whatever reason. So those were actually finished tracks for the most part, but we didn't put them on the record because maybe they didn't fit at the time. That kind of thing. So again, that's why when we went back and went through all the archives and went through the vault, we found this stuff. It's like, hey, why didn't we use this? And we can't really remember exactly. So that's why we thought maybe a good archive record would be appropriate with some of this stuff.
Tell me about the covers from the new album.
Yeah, they were just some fun thought. We thought, hey, everybody pick a cover that you want to do, and I wanted to go down the road of like how Priest did Diamonds and Rust, which, took a Joan Baez song, completely from one other end of the spectrum and turned it into something else on the other side of the spectrum. And the one I tried to do didn't work. So I didn't end up there. But those are just, everybody wanted to pick one. Mike wanted to do, was always wanted to do Please Don't Judas Me. And Stet really wanted to do Green Eyed Lady. And Rick always liked to do Black Betty. And, so it was just kind of one of those things. So it was just something we hadn't really done before. And probably we'll do more in the future. But it was just something for fun. And we just had them in the archive. So we added to it.
It's a really cool, I think it's got a cool little mix on this album. You got a little bit of everything, right? And of course, then you have live tracks, right?
Right.
You picked, I guess, what deep cuts we'll call them, I guess.
Yep. Yeah. That was just done. We recorded the shows we just did in Japan a few months back, and on our way to Australia for the first time, which was really awesome. And it was just, we just kind of wanted to, as we started looking at the material that we had available to do something, And we thought, well, this would be great to kind of, do something with all this stuff without building up more stuff. And in the interim, until, because I've just relocated and putting the studio back together, until we start working on our new studio album, then, this would be something great and fun for the fans, especially since they put a comic book in it.
Yeah. Well, how about a live album? You guys talked about doing a live album yet?
Oh, yeah. We've got to do, since we were just in Japan, obviously, and we've recorded it. So we got to do the obligatory live in Japan. So we were talking about doing Metal Church live in Japan, not at Budokan.
You're going to call it that?
We were talking about, I don't know what we'll call it, but you got to do your live. If you're playing in Japan, you got to do a live in Japan.
Absolutely.
I mean, come on.
Absolutely.
It's a mandatory rite of passage,
Do you have any sort of timeline on a live album?
Well, it's recorded. So
okay.
We'll see. Yeah, that's why we recorded the shows.
No, but I mean, okay, it's recorded, but then you still have to sort of master it, right? And package it. Yeah.
Mix it, fix it. Yeah. But those are the tracks that are on this are 2 songs from there.
Okay, very, very cool. And what about the bonus track? So all you're doing right now is basically taking the track. Why was The Enemy Mind and Needle and Suture? Why were they redone?
Oh, those are the demos.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Yes. Okay. There was.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Those are demos. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I didn't hear those then. Okay. But I heard everything else. It sounded pretty good. Other than that, yeah. What about? Okay. So tell me about a new album, new material. What is that? I guess you can have a lot of downtime now. Are you working on that?
Well, yeah. Well, right now, yeah. But I'm not going to do that to. That's one of the reasons I've relocated, and so I'm putting together a new home, and I'm going to be putting together a new studio. And once that's done, in the next few months, then probably new writing for a proper new album will begin.
Okay, so you guys haven't started yet.
No.
Okay.
I've got a couple other projects going. And and then the relocation and dealing with homes and houses and real estate and all that kind of boring grown-up junk.
I know.
But I had to deal with that. So that's definitely on the radar. I'm going to be writing some new stuff, and will definitely be a new album.
What about the David Wayne era? I guess everybody asks you if there's rare tracks or there's more live shows.
There is some, and I have some, but that's all under such major label 80s corporate lockdown contractual stuff that I can't really, at least not at this point, can't really do anything with. Yeah. Unfortunately. But I have it, but I can't do anything with it.
Wow. I just recently got Metal Church, The Electra Years, which is the first 3 albums. Was that anything to do with you, or was that just the label?
I didn't even know about that. What's that?
Well, it's basically the first 3 albums. You could buy it on Amazon.
Really?
Yes, the first 3 albums, and they're remastered, and it's a pretty cool packaging. Really? Yeah, and I'll show you later on. And it's a really, really nice packaging. And I thought, wow,
oh, that's nice.
Well, maybe you should want to get your lawyer on the horn and call Elektra. I don't know how that works.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's fine, because back in the day when we signed with Elektra, our quote unquote manager at the time said, "Oh yeah, sign this contract. It's fine. It's been negotiated." It hadn't. We signed our lives away, and we signed everything away in perpetuity. So it wouldn't do me any good. It's interesting. I didn't know. Nobody told me that they put out the Elektra Years.
Let me ask you this. So your first 3 albums, have you ever received any royalties for them?
Oh, yeah. Some publishing and stuff, certainly.
Okay.
But that's it.
That's it.
Yeah. Publishing. Yeah.
Publishing. So you don't, okay. Yeah. What about your albums after that, after the first 3?
Things got better once we got smarter and we figured out what was going on. Like most people from our era, most people, when you're a kid and they took advantage, the old business model was taking advantage of the young kids, give them enough beer and chicks and throw them on a tour bus. And then we'll throw enough money at them and they won't know. And then after a few years of going, hey, wait a minute, how come I've done all this stuff, sold all these records, and I'm no better off? And then they start getting smart and start figuring out how the business works. That happened to us. And then we figured out when we moved on, and we started figuring out how the record deal works and publishing and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So
I remember you telling me the last time you're probably in the best phase right now, where you have total control of your music.
Without a doubt.
And when you're per unit, you're making more money than you ever did, back in the day, right?
Yep, absolutely, without a doubt. Yeah,
How's
this is great.
streaming working for Metal Church? Is it, are you
So,
better off with streaming or
no,
physical?
oh, physical streaming. Streaming is a joke for everybody. Streaming is an absolute, finally they're starting to do something about it, just starting. But streaming is an absolute joke. It's a great convenience and it's a wonderful thing. But these streaming companies don't pay for their product that they sell.
Yeah.
They don't pay us anything for it, for what they pay us like a percent of a cent, just something absolutely insane. So we've got to get a handle on that, because we get a handle on the streaming. I'm speaking for all artists. We get a handle on the streaming, we can start making money again.
Yeah, I mean, so what would you say? Would you say you prefer the days of the big labels like Elektra, or do you prefer the streaming?
No, I mean, Elektra was great, and that's where I met like Michael Alago and have some great friends. But it was just the old business model, the way the record companies, the way it worked. And we unfortunately weren't wise enough to pay attention to what we were signing. So we signed just a stock contract and signed everything away, and we didn't know any different, didn't know any better.
Yeah.
And we're not unique in that respect. But
No.
but I'll definitely take it now, the way it is now, because for someone like me, who is, the music and the art is more important than the fame and the fortune and all that kind of stuff, I'd much rather do it, because it allows me to still do this. Back then you would never thought of any guys in their mid to late 50s playing heavy metal and still holding a record contract, unless you were Metallica, or somebody so big that, it didn't matter. For somebody like at our level, kind of a mid-level metal band, would never thought of it. So I'll definitely take it the way it is now. There's some things we have to fix, like the streaming thing, because I think the streaming service is great. It's a wonderful thing for people that just want to listen. But these companies, the Spotifys and all these companies, have got to start paying for the product that they're streaming. And I don't know how they got away with it in the first place. I don't know how they, can set up these services and take our work and sell it to people, and they make money and just pay us just pennies on the penny. It's a crime, and we've got to get a grip on it, because it's the way things are going to be. Music is going to be consumed in the future, and I think it's great. But for just the average consumer, I'm a vinyl guy, so all I listen to is vinyl. Mm-hmm. Other than in my iPod, I love my iPod for working out and traveling and stuff. But when I'm at home and really want to listen, it's vinyl, and I'm really glad vinyl's getting popular again. But get me started on the streaming services.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I find like every era the artists have ever been in, with the exception of maybe like a few years here and there, no one's really made any money except for the major artists, right? Like the Led Zeppelins and the Van Halens, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And even they had issues.
Oh yeah, of course. Well, they've made enough so it's okay, but people like us at our level, we live, quarter to quarter. So in that comes, your BMI, your publishing, and your streaming, and you look at the amount of streaming, you can see how many streams you've had, when they have to pay, and you can see how many streams you had. If that would have translated into sales, we would have gold and platinum records.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
let me ask you this. So how has the coronavirus affected Metal Church right now?
Fortunately for us, not at all, really, because we were on hiatus, while I was doing some real estate relocation and doing that kind of thing. So no, it really, and we didn't have any tour plans. Yeah. So for me right now, speaking personally, because, I don't have kids and any of that kind of thing, and I'm self-employed, I'm getting a hell of a lot of songwriting done right now, and I'm playing an awful lot of guitar right now, which, this may sound a little bit strange, but dealing with life stuff, even though I'm self-employed as a musician, just being able to have the time to sit around and just play guitar, so often you get distracted, with just life stuff, and things like that. So right now I'm using it to my advantage. I've got a whole bunch of writing done on a project that I'm working on, an album project. And so I'm making the best of it for me, but that's only speaking for myself. But as far as other people, like with families and regular jobs, it's pretty tough. But there's relief coming, and when we get through this, things are going to be really, really good on the other side of this. So,
what about the rest of the guys in Metal Church? I guess they have other jobs, right? And they just have to make ends meet. Right?
Yeah, other jobs. But fortunately, I think for most of us in Metal Church in particular, we're fortunate enough, to have it not directly affect us too much. I mean, the gigs are canceled and things like that, but as far as I can tell, everybody in the band is we're going to be we're okay. So because there are other jobs, but they're kind of unique jobs where a lot of people can work at home and do that kind of thing. So
yeah, all right. Well, that's pretty much all I have. Is there anything else you want to talk about in regards to the new release?
There's a cool comic book in it,
Yes.
which is really a trip.
Okay, cool.
to think that yeah, I'm a comic book character now is like, that's awesome.
All right.
You know, again, that's the new music business. You know, a band at our age and this, we still have new things and new territories that we haven't conquered yet. So that's
The comic
it's pretty
book.
exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Well,
And there's no body.
I
There's no
remember.
body fluids in any of the ink. So
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say back to the Kiss days. They were probably the pioneers of the comic books, right? And the Blood in 1980, whatever it was. I was a kid. I remember I was so excited.
oh, totally. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, that's pretty much it. My guest, Kurt Vanderhoof, from, of course, Metal Church. You like the way I pronounce it, huh? Because it's cool.
Yeah,
name.
that's very authentic. Yeah, actually it's Dutch, but it's it's only a few miles difference from Germany, so.
Say farewell to the future.